I'm Lisa Rozner. The UN says about a third of all greenhouse gas emissions caused by humans is linked to food. And all the food you see behind me here at one Midtown restaurant is being reused in innovative ways.
So these are oyster mushrooms, hen of the wood mushrooms.
From farm to table and back from the table to the farm.
Our eggs go in there, our vegetables go in there, all of our fish scraps go in there. We take all of our food scraps, we send them out for compost, and then from the compost, we get these nice, beautiful mushrooms.
Up to 8 kinds of mushrooms delivered to the doorstep of Black Barn on East 26th Street twice a week from Pete, a Queens-based circular farm. It transforms organic waste into mushrooms in a matter of weeks.
With the compost, they ground this all down to pretty much sawdust, and then from the sawdust, they incubate it, if you will, and then they incubate it with little spores. From these little spores, we get these nice, beautiful mushrooms.
We buy the mushrooms back at a reduced cost.
It's one of several steps chef owner John Doherty is taking to combat waste. Staff reuse stale bread made in-house for croutons and bread pudding, fish stock for soup, wine bottles are repurposed to serve water, and wine boxes get sliced for apple cider donuts to be served on.
I think it's all started by looking to save energy cost. I hate waste. You know, it just bothers me.
The UN estimates that 1.3 tons of edible food is wasted each year. Most of it ends up in greenhouse gas producing landfills or incinerators. Scientists say around 85% of food is not composted, resulting in 8% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions.
I've seen estimates stating that 30% of food can be wasted either before it arrives to the consumer or on its way from retail to the customer or afterwards because of spoilage.
Bill Lubick heads the Rutgers Cooperative Extension, where researchers are applying for a USDA grant to build a geothermal greenhouse. It would rely on soil and water below ground for energy.
So we're actually using the energy that's already there to keep the plants alive, getting those plants to people so that then they can produce food. We can expand our what are called rows for the hungry areas.
Some restaurants have been focusing on only buying from local farms and then stretching some of those ingredients for as long as possible.
We use all the trimmings for all of our burger grind so that all of our burgers are like zero waste. We like to dry age all of our own beef in-house. That's going to help cut down on the amount of carbon dioxide and methane that's released into the air from factory farming of beef.
Chef Nate Ashton of Gab's in the West Village uses every part of arugula rabe and supports organic flower farms.
These are grown in New Jersey. They utilize a geothermal vent to heat their tunnels. Again, it's another just sustainable way of creating a little beauty on the plate.
Owner Gabby Madden says in 1 week, they don't even fill up one compost bin.
This is about how much compost that we put out in a week.
Since last year, New York City has required large food establishments to compost, recycle organic matter that can enrich soil. Gab's, a smaller restaurant that opened earlier this year, does it by choice. Napkins and containers there are also compostable.
It's a little more expensive, but we're also reducing the weight of our garbage.
The app, Too Good To Go, gives more than 3,000 food businesses in the tri-state area an opportunity to unload surplus food. Registered establishments pack a surprise bag for consumers and sell it for a third of the retail price. The app estimates millions of bags have been distributed nationwide. The nonprofit City Harvest rescues food from more than 2,000 locations weekly and delivers it to people in need for free through nearly 400 soup kitchens, food pantries, and other programs. It estimates that last year alone, it saved 132 million pounds of food, most of it fresh produce. The nonprofit says that's the equivalent of taking 10,000 cars off the road for the entire year, or the same as planting 2 million trees. Back at Black Barn, the chef says in the first few months of dealing with the urban mushroom farm, they were told more than 13,000 pounds of organic waste was separated and collected from their restaurant alone. Pete's website says it tracks clients' food waste daily.
This is just something small that we can do.
And experts say tracking your food, knowing exactly what you're putting into and taking out of the ecosystem is definitely a start. In the Flatiron District, Lisa Rozner, CBS 2 News.